Alrighty then. Hello everyone. My name is Kirivaka and I'm a voice here to entertain you and may or may not overslept and kind of missed my entire gaming hours. Pooey. Either way, hello there. Yeah, completely forgot this one. And then double check my speaker systems. Does it work or not? It does. Sorry, that was something. Alright then. Hello there, everyone. I don't know who was just managed to join in there. I forgot about this. Alright, let's keep. Let's do like opening. Like the opening that I had have been like some issue with the. I don't know where did that come from. Oh, what is wrong with it? Okay, this one should be okay. This one should be fine. I just don't know why last time I just lost the ability to this thing. Maybe it's because it's like rainy season, so the internet is just like really bad. Didn't you? The fuck just happened? I have to restart my OBS for a bit. I don't know why. I don't know what's happening, but my OBS need to be restarted. Motherfucking Microsoft! The fool! Well, at least I'm back now. For now. Let's go back to take a look what is happening in the internet world, shall we? But before that, I need to go to the toilet. I've been fixing this thing for quite a long time. I've been holding it back. Be back soon! I'm back. Ooh. You're such a dick. Who put that thing there? Yeah, this is how you do like the shading and everything. Ooh. Do 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 do. Well, I do say valid for this particular one is because she's super cute. Da, 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 da. Actually, the graphic when they use is like super duper nice. Whoever it is that made like all these things is like, wow. Holy shit, is this bear or fucking dog? This kind of painting is really hard to make, to be honest. It is a painting because, like, this person only used brush, even though it's a little bit sketchy on the outline. Been thinking about making this kind of things too. May I borrow? Yeah, this make me want to make this later on. After 11? 11! Not this one. Copy link. Let's go to media share. Oh yeah, let's watch this one. Hold on. It's a moist critical video.
To take other people. They say imitation is the greatest form of flattery, but I disagree. I think the greatest form of flattery is this. That's that Donnie from Wild Thornberry.
I can do that too. Oh, I can do the Murloc too.
Type Riz. But when does imitation go too far? When is it no longer an homage, but instead tiptoes over the line into plagiarism? That's what we'll be analyzing today, and by that I mean I learned about 2 channels that have blatantly plagiarized another YouTuber. I saw this right before going to bed tonight. I'm kidding, because I didn't fall asleep. As you can clearly tell, it's 6 a.m. I've been up all night again. Insomnia is here again, doing that to my damn little butt cheeks over here, and I'm tired of it. But as I was trying to fall asleep and then ended up giving up looking at my phone, I saw that there's a bit of a hoopla about this plagiarism thing going on right now. And you're never going to be able to get rid of all the plagiarism on YouTube because it is a rampant issue. But I always think it's nice when people do find bad actors like this just blatantly stealing their work. But as I was looking into this big developing story here, I learned a lot of twists, not only about the original video creator, but also the ones that allegedly plagiarized. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first one before diving into a bit more about the original video as well.
So if your views are low or you're scared of demonetization, listen up because I'm going to tell you the 8 biggest changes of the YouTube algorithm, starting with change number 1, Gemini. So it's fully official. Okay, the YouTube algorithm is now powered by Gemini AI.
This one is egregious. They didn't even bother doing the bare minimum of changing a single word from the original script. So this comes from a YouTuber named Rume Ro, and the YouTuber that's copying his video is someone named Belmont. Now this is a guru who is also selling a course. Now I use the word guru real loosey-goosey because that's how these fucking dweebs refer to themselves as. They're scammers, basically. Case in point, if you're going to be purchasing a course from someone on YouTube trying to give you the secrets, bestow upon you the ancient wisdom of success online, just know you're most likely not going to be finding the Fountain of Youth there. You're probably getting a big load of fucking barnacles. I've never even heard of a course that one of these dorks was selling that was ever even remotely helpful in any way, shape, or form. When it comes to this subject matter, I know in like the fitness space, there's a lot of YouTubers that have courses that are very popular, very successful. I'm talking specifically about this garbage where they have these videos, usually just like a bunch of regurgitated information. In this case, they are literally copying someone else's information in order to try and hawk a course. But like usually it's just some dog shit where they're like, "Yar, matey, so you want to get YouTube views? Well, you're gonna have to fork over the funky digits on the back of that credit card for this fucking PowerPoint I threw together haphazardly." It's all trash. Now, an interesting little fun fact, a little tidbit of lore, in the only Belmont video I've watched, he has a gold YouTube play button behind him for a channel called Serum. So I looked it up, and that's this channel right here, and that's definitely him. Basically, this channel is Sniper Wolf, if Sniper Wolf was a guy who's a huge dweeb. And he hasn't posted in over a year, but he had 4.5 million subscribers. I don't know why he stopped posting. I looked into it, and there's a lot of theories. Apparently, a lot of people seem to believe that he was demonetized at some point, so he abandoned the channel. It's certainly possible, but it's just a theory, a little game theory there. But what's not a theory is that this guy just blatantly plagiarized that video. I guess he's made his triumphant return. No longer is he Serum. Now he's Belmont. And he just takes
Belmont.
other YouTubers' videos word for word as his own.
It's a disgrace to his name.
Yippee, welcome home.
Now, for those of you that don't know what Gemini is, it's pretty much Google's ChatGPT, and the job that YouTube gave Gemini is to analyze videos. So technically, it's no longer about tags, titles, or anything that's mattered before. Because of Gemini, now it's what you say, how you say it, and what you show, like the actual visuals of your video. It understands the tone. If your video is supposed to be sad, it understands it. If being sarcastic, it also understands. Gemini also analyzes behavior on the platform, which takes me to number 2, trust score.
It's actually fascinating how not only did he copy the script one-to-one, but he even copied the timing. It syncs up perfectly. He did exact intonation, exact timing.
That takes skill, you know. Really, really takes skill. I didn't even know how you managed to do that.
Of everything here for his blatant plagiarism. I've never seen that before. This is like the equivalent of taking someone else's homework, copying it, and not even changing the name on it when you submit it. It's fucking baffling. Typically, we're about to look at another case of plagiarism from the same YouTuber, actually. Not Belmont, but the same YouTuber had his work stolen by another channel as well, this time a much more popular channel. I'm actually kind of blown away by how brazen Belmont's plagiarism is. He's got a lot of other videos on his channel, and I imagine all of those are also plagiarized from other YouTubers as well. It seems like that's probably his shtick. I imagine the only reason the visuals aren't exactly the same is because he didn't want to take the extra 2 minutes it would take to crop out the YouTuber from those visuals, because he wanted to just shit and ship this as quickly as possible, a matter of minutes. So instead he just filled it with a bunch of like probably stock videos for his points here. Now the next accused plagiarism patriot is Danny Y. Interestingly enough, it's the same topic that Belmont copied. That now Danny Y has a video on that's eerily similar to Rumero's.
Okay.
An interesting coinky-dink. If I had
explaining
to
about
guess
YouTube
how that's
algorithm
possible,
and SEO.
I would wager
What
that
the fuck is
douchebags
SEO?
like this probably consult ChatGPT for what videos
Search
they
engine.
should steal, and right now ChatGPT is recommending that one from Rumero. That would be my guess. Now, Danny Y's video is a little less obvious than Belmont's.
Okay.
He does change some words around, and he does change the order in which the information is presented. Instead of following the exact blueprint one-to-one of Rumero's original video, he changes
Search engine origin?
But watching them both back-to-back, it is still fundamentally the exact same piece of content. Now, another explanation here. Like I said, I don't know Rumero's content. Maybe it's possible he generated a script for this topic through ChatGPT, and Danny Y doing the same thing. Thus, they came with very similar scripts. I think that is also equally possible.
Now, for those of you that don't know what Gemini is, it's pretty much Google's ChatGPT.
And if you don't know what it is, think of it as Google's version of ChatGPT.
And it even understands the tone. Like
It even picks up on your tone.
if your video's supposed to be sad, it understands it.
If your video is meant to be funny, it knows.
If you're being sarcastic, it also understands it.
YouTube
If
SEO
you're
is
being
everything.
sarcastic in your video, it
It
also
is
knows that
with
too.
that
So that's
SEO
pretty scary
that
shit within
you
itself.
will
And
bring
honestly,
people to
this
your
one
live stream.
scared me when I
You
first
will,
learned
you
about
will
it.
see
Now, when
below
YouTube
some
reviews your
tips
channel,
and tricks
which
on how
they
to
will,
improve
When
your,
YouTube reviews your
live
channel,
stream view,
and they will.
okay,
First thing that Gemini will check
and how to
is your
manage
channel trailer.
people from
And the first thing that
YouTube
plays
to
is
Twitch.
going to be your
I don't
channel
need
trailer.
to
The
YouTube
age
to
of the
Twitch.
email
Just
and the age
YouTube
of
is
the
fine.
YouTube channel.
And then
Use an
YouTube
email
Shorts.
that has
Shorts
been
are good
around for a
for
while.
starter channels to grow, and you can rely on them until you get like
Maybe
solid
your
base
personal
subscriptions.
Gmail that you've been using
They
for years.
don't
If you have
need
any
to be
Google
fast paced
subscriptions like
or
Google
have
One,
any like good
the worse
edit.
it is
You
use
just need to
Premium.
start
Now,
with
any of those
basics and
subscriptions,
with
the better
the
it is.
Even better,
Zoom
if you have
and
Google
the subtitle.
subscriptions
Yes,
like YouTube
yes.
Premium,
I
Google
can
One, or
can contest to
Workspace,
that. It's
that's
actually quite
extra
easy to get
proof
like
That
more
you
view
wanna
that
show
way.
Gemini and YouTube
And
that you're a human and a
be
human
consistent
doesn't start
on
YouTube
shorts
by
and
uploading
try
every
not to
single
post
You're basically
the
showing the algorithm
most.
that you're a real human.
Try to
This one's a
post
bit
at
trickier
the
because
most
he
as you
does
can.
change
Yes,
the
yes,
words
yes.
around,
Long
he does
form
change
are
the order
excellent for
around,
channel
but
that
all
okay.
of the information
Like I
from
only
the
get like
videos
3
is still
view.
present
Like
here, including
all
his
my long form
advice that he
content,
gives in
like
the
even
original,
like the
so it
properly
does
made
still
one,
seem a bit stinky
it's
here
only like
that
around
maybe he
100-ish
had
view. So
grabbed
if you don't
his
really have
script
like
and
that
had
1K,
AI rewrite it a bit
you
for
you don't really
video,
get any benefit from it.
and,
And
you know,
here's the
there's only
secret,
so many
okay?
ways of
Here's the secret.
conveying information if the information is accurate, but this goes a little
Does
bit
a
beyond that, where
algorithm
it's not just
reach
conveying similar information, he's
depends
doing
on
it
how many subscribers you
basically
have.
very, very, very similarly to how Rumero's video covered it.
Matter
Now,
once you
I had that
reach
theory
past
that
1K
maybe
subscriber.
Rumero generated an AI
I'm not even
script
kidding.
and Danny
You
White
have
did
a
the
cap,
same on
okay?
same
The
topic, which
cap
why
is
they're
like the
similar.
lower bare
And I
minimum
think
cap
there's
and then the
even
higher
more
bare
meat to
minimum
that
cap,
theory, because
okay?
I did some
What you
digging
really
on
need is to
Rumero's
build
channel.
up subscriber
Go ahead and
from
just
short
search
first
up
until you
the
get like
title
1K
of
subscriber.
these articles and we throw it
Only
onto
when you get
YouTube,
past
we
that
will be able to
1K
find YouTube
subscriber, you
channels
get
like
your
this
first
one
burial
pop
rank,
early.
okay?
So if we click on it and we click on
10K,
the videos, we can
it's
see that the
basically
views
they
are
have a
not
very
bad at all.
arbitrary
Now,
numbers
moving
for
on
it
to step
after
number
like
2,
1K,
which is
but I
scripting
definitely
your
know
entire
once
video.
you
Now,
get
there's a
into
few
1K,
little
the
tricks. I
algorithm
have a
will
lot
treat
of
you
beginners come
differently.
to me
And
and
then
show
once
me
you
their
get
videos
into
and they're
10,
only like a minute,
above
2
like
minutes long.
10K in
And to be
some
honest, I tell them
somewhat
every
of a
single time,
numbers,
might as well
your
not post a video,
algorithm like
because
how
with AI,
how
there
the
is no
how they treat
excuse
you
for
is
you
also
not
like
to
very
make your
different.
video over 10 minutes.
So
YouTube
there's like
clearly
3 stages of
favors, and this is
algorithm,
my opinion,
but
YouTube
once you
clearly
get
favors
past like
YouTube
10
channels and
the
YouTube videos
10K
that are
digit,
over 10
you
minutes.
know,
So
monument
here's
for
an
you.
example of how easy it is to script write.
Oh my goodness, he's giving the keys to the kingdom, the Krabby Patty secret formula to the ultimate slop. Step 1, look at other YouTubers' content. Step 2,
Explaining about YouTube
basically
algorithm
steal it.
and
He says, like,
SEO.
look at
What the
these
fuck is
channels. You can
SEO?
see their views are doing well, so this is a successful niche. So you want
Search
to aim
engine
for
origin?
basically covering the same topics, because you can see that it has a track record of doing well here. So
What?
step 2, use AI
Fuck is
to make your
SEO?
script for you. So he then shows you like to grab an article, copy and paste it into AI to have it write a script for you, so that way it can cook that shit up for you pretty much instantaneously, and bingo bango bongo, you've got a soulless AI regurgitated video that can now just passively generate income on YouTube for you.
Search engine origin?
So, not a
let's
huge fan of
read
this
this.
guy, to be honest with you. Yes, I do think he was plagiarized in the first instance, and honestly, I am leaning more towards Danny Y also taking his video as opposed to just getting a similar AI
Search engine origin?
And that's due to a couple of reasons I'll share with you. But as far as creators getting plagiarized goes, this one doesn't move my heart. all
let's
that
read
much.
this
is
a bit.
world's
YouTube
smallest
SEO is
violin
everything.
moment for sure, because he himself also kind of preaches the same thing to his students about, like, look at all these other channels and basically do what they do using
It is
AI
with
to
that
do it for
SEO
you.
that you
So,
will bring people to your
it's a little
live
odd
stream.
that he would
You
cry
will
foul
you will see
that
below
other
some
vultures
tips
in the
and
same
tricks on how to
space are doing
improve
the same
your
to
live
his
stream view.
content.
Okay?
When he has these AI
And how to
faceless
manage
slop
people from
channels that he
YouTube to
literally
Twitch.
kind of does
I don't need
very
to
simple.
YouTube to Twitch. Just YouTube is fine.
Well,
And then
it's
YouTube Shorts.
granted
Shorts
it's
are good
not
for
one-to-one
starter
or
channels
as
to grow,
brazen
and you
as
can
the
rely on
examples
them
here,
until you
but
get like a solid
still,
base subscriptions.
it's
They
fundamentally
don't
the same
need to be
DNA. He
fast paced
is
or have
also
any like
just
good edit. You just need to
regurgitating
start
the
with the
same
basics and with
information
the
using AI
Zoom
to do it.
and the subtitle. Yes. Yes, yes. I can contest to that. It's actually quite easy to get like more view that way, and be consistent on shorts and try not people are a little bit confused why they're hearing like so many things at the same times.
For him. Now, maybe he doesn't do it on his Roommate Row channel, that I don't know for sure, but in the videos on this channel, he does talk about and literally try and instruct people on how to take other people's topics and like ideas and plug AI into it so it will make the scripts for you so you can stretch these videos to 10 minutes and make money off it passively for doing basically fucking nothing. So, not exactly like the best creator to be talking about being plagiarized, if I'm being honest. But I do still find it to be an interesting topic nonetheless. And like I said, I do think it's obvious in Belmont's case that he just one-to-one stole the video. I do also think Danny Y most likely had AI spit out a script from Roommate Row's video as opposed to just covering a similar topic.
And that leads us to the next change, one that got thousands of channels deleted just last month. YouTube now probably gives every channel a hidden score. They don't show it to you, but it probably exists. And it controls everything. I call it your trust score. Think of it like a credit score, but for
your trust score? Where have I heard that nomenclature before?
Do that, but it's almost guaranteed
I'm
that
at the wrong
amount of people
timestamp.
that have done that, and this change was done about 2 weeks ago, which is why you've heard so much news of people getting their channels taken away. But I think I found a solution.
Still not at the right timestamp, but basically in Danny Y's video, it's the exact same information. He changed some of the words and changed the order in which he presented it, but he's still basically just saying everything Roommate Row said, but in different order.
But the most important part is that Gemini also analyzes your behavior on the platform, which takes me to number 2, trust score. This has got to be one of the biggest changes that I've ever seen on YouTube. So this is the easiest way to explain trust score.
So, from what I can tell, Danny Y wasn't the one that came up with the trust score. Watching both videos back to back, it's basically the same fucking thing. Like I said, Danny Y just changed the order in which he presented shit, but it's still fundamentally exactly the same. And at points, like in the minute and a half clip there, it is almost identical. I find it unlikely that this is some big misunderstanding and it's just a coincidence. I understand that when it comes to information, there is only so many different ways you can convey the information, but it just feels very fishy that not only is it conveyed very similarly, almost identical at points, but also saying weird things like, I call it your trust score. I came up with that, when he clearly didn't come up with that. Also, couple that with the fact that the advice he gives in his video is the same advice Roommate Row gave in his video. It just feels like he did take the script from that video and just change it around a little bit so it wasn't just so blatantly obvious. Not as lazy as Belmont was with it. Anyway though, plagiarism isn't unusual on YouTube. This shit turbo sucks and it's only being more common now thanks to AI. And people like Roommate Row himself also preaching very similar tactics of just taking other people's topics, ideas, niches, and just having AI be fed this information in order to spit garbage out for you to post and make money on. I think that shit also sucks, and it's not all that dissimilar from what he's complaining about here with these channels ripping off his video. His AI faceless slop channels are fundamentally doing something very, very, very similar. And it's all trash. It's all garbage. And I'm sure he knows that, but it doesn't matter because he makes a ton of money doing it. If you look at his channel, a lot of his videos are just kind of bragging about how much money he makes from doing these AI faceless slop channels. It sucks. It's sad. And that's the exact kind of shit that's ruining the entire platform. Anyway, just wanted to yap about it a bit. That's it. See ya.
Ooh, this one. I want to take a look at it. Oh, not me.
Many of you are likely aware that discussions surrounding Larian and their use of AI has gone nuclear. They're experiencing a ton of backlash and a huge amount of revolt from folks who hate the very idea of AI. And I'm here to present to you what's going on with the situation and what arguments look like online, on social media, and just in the gaming landscape. Now, let's start with why people hate AI. And it's, quite a few factors. And you've got folks like Nick Tech here highlighting how AI has ruined memory prices, with memory prices jacking up because of the fact that a lot of AI companies have hoarded all of the RAM, and it's forcing a lot of the major RAM manufacturers or companies who partake in, creating RAM, GPUs, and components that use that kind of memory to focus more on AI because that's a more lucrative business venture. Nick Tech talks about how AI has ruined game optimization due to relying more on fake frames and AI upscaling solution rather than optimizing first. How it's ruined social media since half the content is now AI slop. How, fake movies and game leaks are created now, and how that is disruptive to essentially how information is distributed online and how a lot of misinformation can become commonplace. How AI wrongfully flags content creators for spam and delete their channels, referring to recent YouTube controversies on that front. How AI has made every app have some useless AI slapped onto it, or operating systems and the like. And then beyond that, there's just things like environmental impact, how this has been damaging to the environment, how this destructive technology is stealing jobs, pushing propaganda,
Environment,
hiking prices,
I'm not sure.
jeopardizing our own
Stealing
health
jobs,
and
maybe.
safety even, which is why the conversation surrounding AI has turned so sour, and why so many people are against the current usage of this technology, with a lot of companies using it very irresponsibly or for their own gains, rather than, uses that are genuinely ethical feeling or uses that feel genuinely beneficial to society. And so now let's talk about Larian and the situation that they find themselves in. All this started with Larian CEO Sven Vink's interview with Bloomberg, talking about the upcoming Divinity game that was recently revealed at the Game Awards, but was also asked questions about the development process. And what Bloomberg learned is that under Vink, Larian has been pushing hard on generative AI, although the CEO says the technology hasn't led to big gains in efficiency. He says there won't be any AI-generated content in Divinity. He says everything is human actors. We're writing everything ourselves. But the creators often use AI tools to explore ideas, flesh out PowerPoint presentations, develop concept art, and write placeholder text. It reads right here, use of generative AI has led to some pushback at Larian. So within the studio, some folks do not like the idea of using Gen AI, but quote, I think at this point, everyone at the company is more or less okay with the way we're using it. Now, it's worth noting that this isn't the first time that Larian has admitted to using machine learning in some way, shape, or form. So for example, back in April 25th, 2025, there's this article where Sven Vink said that the company uses machine learning to do tasks that nobody wants to do, is how he put it, as you can read right here. He said it's the obvious things like a motion capture cleaning or voice editing or something very specific, retargeting. So that is basically if you play with different species, you want to be able to reuse an animation on a different species that are in different size, and then they're doing certain interactions with others. So there are these very specific uses that he mentioned back then that are more about reducing the tedium rather than, replacing artists and replacing developers and workers and employees. But with his most recent statement on AI, Sven Vink talked about how AI tools are used to explore ideas and develop concept art even. And the general backlash out there is that concept art is, essentially the basis of any project. That, in many ways, defines the creative direction of a game, the visual language, so on and so forth. So to have that relegated to AI, people feel essentially kind of poisons the pool. Not to mention that the creation of concept art is a profession with that feels like could be at risk if this is something that is pursued. Now, Sven Vink and Larian did respond to all of these accusations, and I'll get to that in a bit, but the general reception of what Bloomberg revealed through this interview with Sven Vink has not ultimately gone down well, with a lot of people feeling as though, for the sake of convenience, Larian is facing security. Topic of convenience, like have really wide travel gear. Travel brings us to today's Bellroy. High thoughtful travel accessories for you right here of their flagship, their Transit carry-on luggage bag, as well as their Transit Travel Pack Pro backpack. The carry-on comes in 4 color varieties, with mine being this 9 called Ever. It is perfectly sized for airline compliance domestically here in the US. It's got room cells that can dividers for better organization, and it's got tons of compartments to store all kinds of things for travel. The custom designed telescopic handle is also really comfortable to deploy and hold. Its Lysoft side wheels ensure smooth and quiet roll, and the matte polycarbonate shell is strong, flexible, and highly durable. As for the backpack, it's incredibly versatile with its ability to expand from a volume of 30 liters for a more everyday backpack experience to 38 liters for traveling, with suitcase-style full zip access that makes it really convenient for high-volume packing. There are tons of compartments and pockets in here as well to ensure that everything you bring with you has somewhere to go in, including a discreet RFID-protected pocket for sensitive items like passports and the like. The materials are top-notch and premium as well, with a focus on both durability and comfort, as well as being eco-friendly through recyclable materials. These are just 2 of the myriad products that Bellroy has on offer, and all of them are crafted with this high level of consideration and attention to detail. If you're in need of bags and accessories for travel and organization, Bellroy has got you covered. And you can get 10% off your order by using my link in the description and comment section below. All right, so let's talk about the backlash surrounding Larian and what that has looked like. So right here we have Kami, for example, tweeting about this Bloomberg report, how for Divinity, Larian will be relying on some aspects of AI in order to flesh out PowerPoint presentations, develop concept art, explore ideas, and write placeholder text, so on and so forth. You can see right here, just from the fact that this has garnered almost 12 million views and, tens of thousands of likes and tons of interactions with tons of comments and people expressing their opinions, that this is a hotly debated topic. Even in the comment section of this particular post, people are talking about how, there goes my interest for Divinity because AI is being used to develop concept art, this being one of the top posts. Or, folks posting stuff like, Larian, I was so excited for this game, but if you're willing to undercut concept artists and can't even think about the foundations of your game without using a slot machine to make it so you don't actually have to think or be creative, I'm not paying you a single cent. And a lot of comments echo this sentiment, both here in this thread, as well as if you look at the quote tweets for Kami's posts, you have tons of posts going viral, like this one right here. The Divinity hype was so short-lived, it felt exactly like this GIF, showing a very brief moment of hype before dying of disappointment. And stuff like this is garnering tens of thousands of likes and millions of views, and people talking about how this may very well kill hype for Divinity, and how Larian kind of essentially paved the road for that with their insistence on using Gen AI, even if it is for more conceptual stuff. Tons and tons of viral tweets, all of them in extreme dissent against this idea that developers are normalizing using Gen AI for things that artists could do and likely do better. Just searching for AI on Twitter, you'll find that scrolling down, a lot of this stuff is related to recent rumblings surrounding games that have used AI during its development, and Larian in particular has become a major topic of discussion and contention. I mean, you've even got folks like Sam Dietz talking about how if you're using generative AI for concept art, then yes, you did use AI-generated content in your game. What the hell makes you think visual artists don't deserve the same respect as actors and writers? Sam Dietz being the head behind the Castlevania animated series, and he's an animator who is very passionate about this kind of topic. Larian in the past has expressed that they are not about AI kind of being prominently used in game development. Right here, for example, we have an associate producer at Larian talking about how, with Jennifer English, who won Best Performance at the Game Awards, here's what the producer had to say on that front. We lose the chance to support performers like Jennifer English if we let Gen AI replace human acting. Every VA starts small and progressively levels up to take on bigger challenges. When we let AI do the unimportant lines, BS, by the way, people with potential never get to shine. And what a lot of people are arguing is that the same could apply to artists who, maybe start out with smaller projects and, smaller assignments when it comes to like concept arting and stuff like that, and can progressively level up and take on bigger challenges. But if generative AI replaces that particular profession and that entry-level aspect that artists, have contributed so much to, then what chance is there for new artists to come in and prove their potential in order to be able to kind of get in on the ground floor of this industry and be able to rise through the ranks, similarly to, what Burnhen is saying here about voice actors. And so, yeah, the backlash has been swift and severe. You've got folks like Brian Francis, who is a games journalist, just saying sigh in response to Sven Ving talking about how they plan to use Gen AI for some of the more conceptual stuff, which is gaining traction on Blue Sky. And also on Blue Sky, you will see developers speaking out, like former Larian Studios developers such as Anoxicart, who said, "Consider my feedback. I loved working at Larian Studios until AI. We consider and change your direction like yesterday. Show your employees some respect. They are world-class and do not need AI assistants to come up with amazing ideas." Here's another developer posting on Twitter saying, "LOL, as someone who's worked there for 4 years, I'm not surprised." This former developer then criticizes the way Sven Ving said that everyone at the company is more or less okay with the way we're using it, insisting and accusing him of lying about people being okay with it, and kind of going off about how wrong this all feels and how this is something that Larry needs to change. Others are bringing up the point that the concept phase is the absolute worst time to be using generative AI because the concept phase is the foundation from which everything else is built. With this individual saying you're poisoning your creation at the root, you're immediately limiting your vision. Why on earth would you ever do that? There's a post that has gone.
Yeah, it's really hard to say. Like, I personally does that too when it comes to using concepts and stuff. But more or less, it's not really like the exact idea like you can grab like from the internet. It's more like I'm using AI to grab the concept of coloring, because like sometimes like color theory, this and that other stuff is not really that much. Some people think like I do a lot of like very like bright color, a little bit AI like, but I was doing that even before AI stuff is a thing. So I do like the fact, sadly, it is how it is. Like I do like the fact how AI do some coloring sometimes. Like they know how to emphasize on some of the brightness of the colors that I really, really love, but never really got the chance to use it. So yeah, that is like many of the things that
Viral. You've got other ones like this, how people are talking about the way Larian is, so quickly destroying their reputation, saying one of the smartest things you can do as CEO is mess with the established winning formula that helped your last game sell 20 million copies. Stuff like this is going viral. You've got posts like this saying how to lose me as a consumer 101. That's also garnering tons of likes and views and many people being in agreement. Lots of folks expressing their disappointment, so on and so forth. Folks highlighting how seeing the company who won the best community support award at the Game Awards actually lose the community support in one afternoon is bizarre, bruh. Here's the former Larian developer chiming in further saying, "Stop with this bullshit argument that AI is inevitable. It's not. We have heard the same shit about never-ending wars and everyone getting COVID. All of these things are preventable, not inevitable. People complying in advance is fucking us over. Stop shilling for billionaires." Plenty of folks saying that if you are someone who relies on AI, then you're kind of a loser, or you lack creativity. Posts like these also going incredibly viral. Some people expressing bafflement at how Larian has set themselves up to losing a lot of goodwill. So for example, Rafa Knight here highlights how they spent millions on a CGI trailer on marketing and to get their AD on the Game Awards, and then they go and talk about the usage of Gen AI and lose all the good reputation they've built and how that's negatively impacted PR to the point where they have to engage in damage control, asking what is this business strategy called? Also going viral. Then you've got folks who are speaking up for concept artists, because a lot of people believe that, well, it's just concept art, right? As long as the final game doesn't have generative AI stuff in it. But you've got folks insisting that concept art is an incredibly fun and creative step in game development. The entire game grows from the creative vision of the concept artist, because again, concept art is in many ways the foundation of so much, especially when it comes to like artistic direction or visual language. AI generative software wouldn't be able to output images that mimic concept art if that software wasn't engineered by exploiting the work of thousands of concept artists without permission or compensation. Using AI generative software is just wanting to exploit the labor of concept artists without credit, permission, or payment. So F these guys. You got folks like this individual right here praying for the downfall of AI so that all those who invested in it experience a similar downfall. And this is again garnering tens of thousands of likes and hundreds of thousands of views. Posts like these are going viral. I have a wonderful generative tool. It's called My Brain. That's a post that's garnered quite the popularity with almost 150,000 likes and almost 1 million views. And this conversation is so widespread that it's caused individuals to look at other games that are being highly celebrated but still use generative AI, like Expedition 33 here, when they once upon a time freely admitted that they used some AI but still ended up winning the most awards ever in Game Awards history. with Gene Park here highlighting this particular quote from Clay Obscure developers. "We use some AI, but not much," says Francois Maurice, producer of Clay Obscure. "The key is that we were very clear about what we wanted to do and what to invest in. And of course, technology has allowed us to do things that were unthinkable a short time ago. Unreal Engine 5's tools and assets have been very important in improving the graphics, gameplay, and cinematics." Gene Park's point being that, yeah, AI is kind of everywhere now, and it is something that has been kind of normalized, and it's something that can win awards. But, you know, a lot of people didn't really even know that Expedition 33 used, even if it's a little AI, that they used it at all. And plenty of people are asking, like, what was the exact usage of AI? And, you know, can we determine whether it was ethical or not? Gene Park's intention was also to highlight that because massively critically acclaimed projects like Clair Obscure can be seen both admitting to using AI while also garnering all this love from the community and also winning awards, you know, Gene correctly points out, according to this user, that whether you think Gen AI is good or bad, this emboldens people to use AI in their workflows. It's concerning that Valve requires devs to disclose their use of AI on their store pages, and the most critically acclaimed game of the year didn't do so. And in the quote tweets of Gene Park's post here, plenty of people expressing their dissent and also highlighting how there were actually certain AI placeholders that did ship with Clair Obscure, and they only removed it after people pointed it out and noticed that it was Gen AI. Some people are highlighting how Dispatch, based on what they said previously, didn't use AI and went as far as to say that maybe AI is a creative solution if you aren't a creative person. That's a direct quote from Dispatch developers. But at the same time, Expedition 33 director Guillaume Broche has come out and said their firm stance on AI is no, or specifically, you know, creative AI, saying, quote, "The studio doesn't want AI involved in anything creative and isn't interested in anything made by artificial intelligence." But I don't know if the general consensus is that using AI for a lot of conceptual stuff, creating mood boards and the like, as long as that stuff doesn't ship in the final version of the game and it's just strictly for conceptualizing, that's okay. And that's what Expedition 33's director meant by, you know, no to creative AI and no to shipping things that have AI assets, but still using it in some ways as a tool, especially for the conceptual stages. But a lot of people are arguing that even in the conceptual stages, AI should not come into play. And so yeah, this discussion exploded with people highlighting how both Larian Studios and Expedition 33 developers admitting to using Gen AI wasn't on their bingo card, and how that is so incredibly disappointing given how beloved both of these studios are and how they've, you know, presented themselves as folks who want to do things more ethically and artistically, just with a moral compass, highlighting how this technology, even if it's just used for conceptual stages, ultimately contributes to harming the environment, how it replaces jobs and steals art from people, so on and so forth. And this topic blew up so fast and became just so fiery that Sven Vink actually decided to respond, and he did so via two outlets. He provided a statement to IGN, and then he went on his own personal Twitter account to issue his own statement. So here's the statement that was provided to IGN. Quote, "We have been continuously increasing our pool of concept artists, writers, and storytellers, are actively putting together writer rooms, casting and recording performances from actors, and hiring translators. Since concept art is being called out explicitly, we have 23 concept artists and have job openings for more. These artists are creating concept art day in, day out for ideation and production use. Everything we do is incremental and aimed at having people spend more time creating. Any machine learning tool used well is additive to a creative team or individual's workflow, not a replacement for their skill or craft. We're researching and understanding the cutting edge of machine learning as a tool set for creatives to use and see how it can make their day-to-day lives easier, which will let us make better games. We are neither releasing a game with any AI components, nor are we looking at trimming down teams."
All right. It's been enough time. Even though there's still lots of things I do want to watch, but again, like just chat stream is just chat stream. There's no people to chat with. Then I'm just going to move along. Either way, I need to keep my schedule up. I'll be ending this stream and then move along to another stream. Shall we?